Let's admire my shirt, please. Queen Dolly. Hey, hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and yeah, I've been posting less bars because life is life, and I need like a jingle. Someone make that for me. Anyway, I'm here to talk about 2 books that I read last month. And I have a physical copy of one. I don't know where it is, but I'm talking about Yellowface by Rebecca Kwong, or R.F. Kwong, and also Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I know these are 2 very different books, and it's essentially a wrap up, except there was another book that 2 other books that I read, but I already talked about one, Fourth Wing. If you have not seen that video, I'll link it. And then the other one, there's not a lot of, not a lot to talk about, so why? No point. Anyway, I'm gonna talk about these because I have the most thoughts about these, so I thought that made the most sense to do a video of them together. I was gonna do Yellowface separate, but you know. Anyway, so I think I'm gonna talk about Book Lovers first. Yes, Book Lovers by Emily Henry. So this was my 3rd chance with Emily Henry. It was kind of like 3 strikes, you're out. The first book I read from her was Beach Read, which everyone loved. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people love that one. That's a lot of people's favorite of the book that romances she's released. I didn't love it. It wasn't terrible. I like her writing. Story wasn't what I was looking for. Then I read some of People We Meet on Vacation. I DNF'd that one because it was not for me. I was not feeling it. So I said before in a previous video that I was gonna give Emily Henry one more chance and to decide if she is an author for me or not. So this one was Book Lovers, my 3rd, or Emily Henry's 3rd chance. I've forgotten how to talk to a camera, obviously. So I listened to the audiobook because I had a long drive last week, and I finished the whole thing. I liked it, but I just think for romance, I'm good on Emily Henry. Like, I'm not going to reach for her books any longer when that's what I want, because she just doesn't give me what I want in a romance. So Book Lovers, our main characters, whose names I already forgot, one is an author and one's a literary agent and the other one is an editor. So they're both in publishing. I think something else that I've noticed, and I don't know, I won't say 100%, but something that I've noticed that I don't necessarily love is when books are very meta. And so this is very meta because they're both publishers, so they're talking about genres and writing and publishing, which obviously as a booktuber, I talk about that stuff. And I'm just like, I don't necessarily want it addressed in my books. I don't know, because also Yellowface is very meta. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm on the fence, but anywho, they're both in publishing, both in New York City. She has a sister that she's really close to. Their mom passed away, and she's the older sister, so she's been working a long time, took care of her sister. Now her sister's married, she has kids. Anyway, our main character works all the time, is always like, I don't have time for vacation, work. And he is an editor that I think she knew of, but she just meets at the beginning of this book, and their first meeting is not good. She's late, he seems pissed. So it's kind of like disgruntled acquaintances to lovers, I would say, is the trope for this one. So anyway, they end up in this small town, and it goes from there. So I just feel like there wasn't a lot. I think the atmosphere was great, like a small town atmosphere, there being some local people, even though I wish we got more of the locals. That's sometimes one of my favorite thing in a story, even a romance, when you get at least one strong character from the town, and I don't really feel like we got that. And then we meet people, but we didn't really there wasn't a really good development of one of the characters. Also, I never felt chemistry from them. I didn't feel any tension. I could tell when the moment was supposed to feel, tension and there was a buildup between them that they were trying to resist, but I never felt it. So I just never had this stress of will they, won't they, and obviously it's a romance, so you know how it ends, but I just never felt that. They just felt very much like friends the whole time. And then the relationship, again, this is what I feel like with, at least with Beach Read and then this one, is that it's more of it feels more general fiction-y to me, because a lot of it is dealing with her trauma from losing her mother and having to be a stand-in parent for her sister, and the relationship issues that her and her sister have, even though they're really close, you know, there's still some issues there. And then he has his own issues with, you know, his family and where he's gonna live and what he's gonna do next and his career. And so I feel like those stories were at the forefront, and then you have this kind of like sideline romance story. And when I'm going into it, I want the romance story to be at the forefront, and then those other things are just other things that, you know, play into the story, help move the plot along. I don't know. I just, you know, owning all her books looks fun because all the different fun colors, and I do like her writing. It's just the way she writes romance stories. This is not what I want in romance. I want to be swooning and like feeling the tension and like sit like woo, and I don't get that. I didn't get that from Beach Read, and I didn't get it from this one, and it just really focuses on what I wish was the background, is more of the foreground in these. So I would give it like 3.5, maybe 3.25. It just was fine. You know, it was fine to listen to. I got through it quickly. Maybe I had a few laughs. Again, the setting was like the highlight of the story for me, the small town. There's a bookstore in the small town, and that was really the highlight, and maybe a couple other moments, but really, I can't remember their names. I can't remember any memorable moments about their relationship. So yeah, I'm good on Emily. If she wrote another genre, I'd give it a try. But for now, I'm going to pause, and I'm not getting any more of her romance books. So there's that. But if you did read Book Lovers, I would love to know how you felt, especially if you've read her other books. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta realize that an author is not for you, even if you want to like a popular author that other people do. It's just not. Me and Emily are not vibing. No, we're not. Anyway, that's that. 3.25 stars, I guess. Then to Yellowface by Rebecca F. Kuang, R.F. Kuang. So this is her like literary fiction, specifically debut, I guess, because obviously she wrote the Poppy War trilogy, which was adult fantasy, it's military fantasy. Then she wrote Babel, which I categorize as literary historical fantasy, but like very light on the fantasy elements. And then we have this one. And again, this book is very meta. So the book is told from the perspective of Juniper, who is the worst, like I think not unlikable character, like the fucking worst. Unlikable isn't the word. We're in her brain the entire time, which is almost a mind fuck, because you're like, oh my fucking God. How terrible can you be? You can't get worse than this. And then she proves you wrong. And then she is worse than that. So she's white. And she starts off the book talking about Athena Liu, I think is the character's name. So Athena, who is her, what do I want to say? Not her like counterpart. Like did they go to grad school together? Let's say they went to grad school together, ended up moving to the same city, or did they go to undergrad together? Look, my brain cannot hold on to details. But anyway, they knew each other from school, moved to the same city, which I think they were in DC. So they're really like, what's the word? No, counterparts? I'm trying to use every word but friend, because they really weren't friends. But they were in similar circles, and both were trying to get into publishing, so they would hang out together sometimes. But if you're in Juniper's mind, you're like, why are you hanging out with this woman that you hate? But anyway, they both wanted to be writers. Juniper did have a book published, didn't do that great, still trying to find her way and having to do other side jobs to supplement her income from writing. Athena blew up, is just like the talk of the town. Everyone loves her books. And so, you know what? I didn't even read the summary for this book, so I'm trying to figure out what was in the description and if that is okay. So essentially the plot of this story is Juniper, our white woman, steals a manuscript from Athena and publishes it as her own. And then you really go on this journey to see inside the mind of a white woman who thinks she's an ally and thinks she is, you know, I'm a leftist. I'm very on your side. But see how she really feels and thinks. And I'm sure there are so many people out there who think this exact way. And it is very meta. It is very now. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I don't know if this means it will age well or not. Because if you have ever been on book Twitter, if you have ever watched a book community, seen some book talk drama, Bookstagram, what have you, it's like that in real time with this book, except you're in the point of view of the villain of the day instead of being on the outside looking in. It is a fucking wild ride. I swear some of the shit she says, I'm like, good fucking grief. It is a lot. I think I would give this a strong 4-star because I love Rebecca's writing always. I'm a fan. I just don't know if this didn't have 5 stars, obsessed, will be thinking about it nonstop like Babel did to me. Like Babel is, I'm like, I am Babel, Babel is me, like we are one. I can't place my, I don't know if the meta-ness of it is what takes it from a 5 to a 4. It's just very now. Literally, it's just, there's mentions of Twitter, things that happen with like, you know, being called out and dogpiled on and certain terms and things. It is just like very, take all of those things, book Twitter plus book. If you took book Twitter and book community, you put it in a book. It's like, it's that. And it is very, yeah, you just see a lot of parallels to things. I don't know for certain if she said this, but Athena also feels like Rebecca, like herself. And so I don't know. I definitely really, and saying I enjoyed it is also hard to say because I wanted to being in her head, I just wanted to be like, I just wanted to shake the bitch. Like, I can't, wow, the rage I felt. But then also, Athena, whose manuscript was stolen, also is not this perfect person. And there's also some conversations on, I guess, publishing and also kind of the wider public choosing, maybe inadvertently choosing one person to be kind of this like stand-in representative for one ethnic group or one, you know, racial group. Like in this book, Athena is very much the Asian writer, you know, like, and so of course people are like, hold her to this higher standard, but then if there's anything that she may mess up or misinterpret or may say something negatively, then they also are so quick to judge her and attack her. And so even that's something outside of like the book community, a very just online conversation. Like it's very much chronically online book about book people. Does that make sense? I am struggling here on how to use words. The book is very much about chronically online bookish people. Like that's a good way to describe this book. But like I said, topics that extend outside of book Twitter, interesting conversations about being that person, you know, the diaspora and then white girl and who can write what, who should write what story. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Very, very interesting. So a solid 4 for me. I don't know what I thought Yellowface was going to be. I don't know. But it was very unique, and I, again, will continue to auto-buy everything that R.F. Kuang writes until she gives me many reasons not to trust her. So I don't think that took super long. Those were my reviews of those 2 books, Book Lovers and Yellowface. So if you've read either one, I would love to know your thoughts down below. Please be careful with spoilers because we don't know what other people have read, but that's kind of it. I really don't read a lot. I have books everywhere. And I look at them and I get sad, and I just miss when I had so much time and energy to read. I've been DNFing books like a mofo, like left and right. I've just been like, I don't have time. And the thing is, I have so many books on my shelves that I'm like guaranteed, or at least 95% sure that I'm gonna love them. And they don't have the mental focus for a lot of them right now. So yeah, I don't know if you can hear that. Nigel's licking his paws under the bed. But I miss my frequent reading days, but this is just my new reality. I have to work, and it is mentally draining to me. So most days after work, I don't have the energy to focus on words. So it stinks, but it is the curse of capitalism, and that's all I got. So anyway, but if you read something else in May that was really stand out, or if there is a book, here's a question. If there's a book you've read lately that you just think, ooh, Jess would love this, tell me. Do I need more books to put on my TBR? No, but why not? And also, maybe it's a book I already own, because I own a lot. I mean, you're sitting on a stack of books right now. Anyway, that's it for me. Appreciate all of you for sticking around, for your support. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Stay blessed, hydrated, moisturized, and sunscreen. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.